Oh, hey, Armand, how's it going?
Hey, Joey, it's going well.
What should we watch tonight?
What's this?
What the? Tiptoes?
Whoa.
In the couch?
Yeah, guess the tip was showing. Give it a shot. Looks like we're watching Tiptoes tonight. Ooh. Starring Gary Oldman, Kate Beckinsale, Patricia Arquette, and Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
The official selection of the 2004 Sundance Film Festival.
Festive.
Yeah, so it has to be good. So no couple could be more in love than Stephen, Matthew McConaughey, and Carol, Kate Beckinsale. But Stephen has a little secret he's been keeping to himself. He has a twin brother, Gary Oldman. And he just so happens to be a dwarf. In fact, with the exception of him, his entire family is made up of little people. So, when Carol becomes pregnant, Stephen is finally forced to tell her the truth. That their child may also be born a dwarf. Carol decides to have the baby anyways, knowing full well that when it comes to important things in life, it's the little things that matter.
That's terrible.
So let's do it.
I mean, that's what happened.
But hold on. Let me stand on my
You drove this thing 400 miles? Huh?
Yeah, well, Maurice builds them.
Just show a full body
I can't
shot.
afford to put out a car right now, so I figured, what the hell? Hey,
Yeah.
Man, give mom and dad a call.
It's almost That's almost the full body.
yeah,
That's a
don't you go
composite.
tell me
They
that.
composited it. I don't know what they're doing, but it looks wrong.
You need some money, Manny? How much you need?
Who is this man in your bedroom? Huh? No, I want to know now why this man is in your bedroom.
Well,
It's because we are gonna fuck, okay? Is that what you want to do?
Adrizi, we're not fucking.
So just get your unemployed ass out of my apartment now.
But all those things that you told me in the darkness, you said I was the sexiest stud you had. You opened your heart to me.
You said
it was the sexiest
stud
you've ever had.
Wow, man, this ain't gonna seem
Roll.
like such a big deal.
Don't roll.
Oh my goodness! You fucking go on! You
just had a midget.
You get out of my way now!
He just hit a
Stop it! Get off of him! Stop it! Stop! Get your hands off of him! Stop it! No!
Why did that buster Oh, yeah! Yeah!
Where's this movie gonna go now?
Do we really feel good about it? Anyways, fade to black. Roll the credits.
No
Yes.
way!
What?
No way!
That's the end of the movie?
Oh,
man. I love movies.
What was the point of
You
Peter
never know when the
Dinklage?
credits are really going to roll.
No way!
What was the point of so many
anything?
things?
Rutch, summarize the plot for us.
I'm not going to summarize the plot for you.
Tell us what you thought the plot
I'm still
was.
very much.
What did you take away from the movie?
My takeaway? Okay, the number
What
one.
happened in the movie?
All right, so tonight we're talking about Tiptoes, an excellent piece of fiction from 2003.
Definitely fiction.
Yes.
Joey, how about you tell me a little bit about Tiptoes?
I just told you to tell us about Tiptoes.
I didn't take away anything.
Okay, so essentially, you have some actors that have been duped into making this movie.
Did they have a script?
Did they?
Did they say, like, you're duped into this movie, here's the script?
I'm not
and you
sure
can
Matthew
learn it, or was it
McConaughey
kinda
knew
like,
any lines of the script.
because there were moments where it was like, that felt ad-libbed, like, nobody wrote that in the script, right?
All right, let's start from the beginning. How did this movie progress?
So
And
it starts.
Where did it start?
It starts
from?
with a dwarf tricycle gang
Yes.
Yes.
on a
First
highway
shot, first shot.
on the west
On a
coast.
desert highway.
And then they pick up a girl.
Patricia Arquette.
Yes.
She's not a prostitute.
She's
Not a
kicked off
prostitute.
of a bus for unknown reasons.
Right. But yeah, so that happens. Then we meet for a brief moment, it was kind of like a weird scene where we actually meet Matthew McConaughey and Kate Beckinsale, right?
Yes. It cuts to the party. It's like a...
Which is the like Little People's Defense League.
Yeah, Little People Defense League.
LPDL.
Convention party. But that's the scene with Rolf that we find out how they made Gary Oldman into a dwarf. He's quite obviously standing on his knees, and you can see it like at the very bottom of the frame, his shoes on his knees, and his shoes are like pointed up to the sky. Like it totally looks like those aren't his feet.
Yep. And anytime he walks, he's like swaying so much, like you can tell that person's not walking with knees.
So they arrive there. Matthew McConaughey leaves.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. So he leaves there. They meet at the party, and Peter Dinklage gets thrown out for unexplained reasons.
Again, unexplained.
With Patricia Arquette. And so we find out that his family are a bunch of dwarves.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that's not a dwarf.
Matthew McConaughey's
Which
family. We don't know who Peter
convention,
Dinklage's
he
family
seems-
is,
Yeah.
or how he's
Right.
associated
We
with
don't
these
know
people
how he's
yet.
related. He's just
Other
a
than
friend
he
of
just
Rolf.
he rides around on a motor tricycle with Gary Oldman's character.
Which I'm fine with if the movie explains over its 90-minute period.
Right. Like even if he like somehow was the inspiration to Rolf to steal away his brother's fiance or something, like then he would at least serve.
Spoilers!
Whoa! After 5 fade to blacks, we then find out at the end of the movie the cliffhanger is that Gary Oldman gets Kate Beckinsale. So this cover here says, "It's the little things in life that matter." So how did the movie sell that for you?
Well, for me, I guess it's like with the ending the way that it is, it's about how like we just assume as average height people, some of us.
Hey, buddy, it's okay.
I'm the same
It's
height as
okay,
all of
man.
you guys.
I know you have a booster seat on.
Should we do a height check? Should we do a height check?
But we all would assume that the good-looking, tall, handsome guy, Matthew McConaughey, is going to be a good guy. He must be a good father. He must be a good
As opposed to the
relationship person.
Quasimodo dwarf
Right.
Gary
We just
Oldman.
assume that he's just a side character and he just isn't going to be as good or as successful. And so the movie showed us that, oh, they subvert our expectations and that really he's actually the more human person.
I just find that very odd, though, because Matthew McConaughey's character, I don't even know his real name in the movie.
Steven.
Steve.
Was it really?
Steven.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
They said it like 3 times.
It's just odd that he would be so biased to
His own family.
his own family.
Yeah, I agree. It felt weird.
It would feel really bizarre if he didn't come up from a lineage like that, but
Like
then
you could sense
had
a real
dwarf
amount of
child.
hatred, like
Yeah.
underlying his actions and kind of motives when he wasn't with his family. Like he did a good job of like pretending, you know, that he enjoyed them and everything like that. But outside of that, he
Yeah,
was
because the
very
first
much,
time we see him with dwarves was at the convention
all
thing,
happy
and it
and
was
friendly
like, yeah,
and-
it was like he was with his family. It was no big deal, and he like had that heart to heart with Rolf and stuff.
And even when his parents and his fiance's parents and them are all together for the barbecue, like he's still having a good time, and they're like, "Oh, you know, this will work. You know, everything's good."
So it
and
just
then
felt
later
very
he's just kind of like,
different. Like
I
why
hate
was he
dwarves.
like that?
That's
yeah.
basically Matthew McConaughey's characters.
But it was really bizarre because 3/4 of the way through the movie, they got married finally, Steve and Kate.
It felt like only halfway. Like it felt like there should have been the second half of the movie.
Right
there.
after that, you can tell because it faded to black, and you're like, okay, well,
This is
we're
the end
in
of
the
the
last
movie.
third. It's gonna end anytime soon.
Okay, but how we got there too. The mom was super uncomfortable.
So the door opens.
And
And then
clearly
we see-
nobody told the mom or the dad, Kate Beckinsale's mom or dad, that Matthew McConaughey's entire family is dwarfs. And so they are clearly dealing with that. That seems like something that you would
But
tell
the thing
anybody.
is, the father's like rolling with it. Like you can see him smiling. He's like, "Oh yeah."
telling fart jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
some kind of weird stories around the table.
and the mom is like clutching her pearls, like
Yeah, like
Like-
she's about to faint or
she's like,
something.
Yeah,
It's like,
she,
"That's
like
faint,
she
but-"
can't contain.
they're
her-
dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, honey.
But then
tell 'em
so-
what our problem is.
Yeah, so they build up that she actually is uncomfortable
It
with
makes you think it's
dwarves.
going to be like a racism or on par with
Right.
a racism thing.
And then it's
like,
not, which like, okay, but she actually was really uncomfortable with the fact that they were dwarves, and then just suddenly, that's not what it is. So it wasn't even like...
Go on, honey, you're more diplomatic.
I'm just not even sure if it was supposed to be like, that's what they were saying that she was actually having an issue for or was bothering her, or if that's what the characters just ended up going with because they didn't want to be like offensive.
I think she was bothered by it, but then she's like, no, husband, you take this. And then he was like, how can I get out of this? I'll tell a joke.
Because in the beginning of the film, she's like, I'm pregnant. Matthew McConaughey was like, how could you get pregnant? My family are dwarves. And then they freaked out about it for like a hot minute. And then she was like, I'm okay with it. But he wasn't.
He was very not.
And then by the wedding, you could tell she was visibly pregnant, like about to like give birth, like 9 months pregnant.
She was like 8 months, yeah.
And then
she was far along.
Fade to black. They're in the hospital. She already gave birth. And Matthew McConaughey's like losing it, like
he punches the wall.
He punches a wall.
Not just punches, like breaks the drywall.
Looks like he was like didn't sleep for like 5 days. Like looks like he's on methamphetamine. He's like, boom, there's a dwarf baby. He storms out.
But I'm gonna get out of this by name repetition and mirroring personalities.
And then they jump like another 10 months.
Fade to
after
black
that.
again.
Yeah, so like it was pretty continuous timeline all the way up until the first fade to black to the wedding. Or there wasn't even a fade to black there, was there?
Wherever we
Did they
go.
just cut to the wedding scene?
It was fade to black after.
Right, and then after that, it was a weird montage because everything was continuous timeline up until that moment.
And I think I know why.
Oh, okay.
So, the original running time was 2.5 hours long.
Wow,
that's too long.
That's
and
brutal.
then the version we watched, the version that's actually released, is 90 minutes. Because the original director was fired in the middle of the production, then they hired a new director, or they just
I think it
edited
just says like they took it and edited it themselves.
See, that's the fatal flaw, because then we see all these fade to black, so they probably...
Right, all these disconnected scenes that aren't actually strung together with narrative.
Yeah, they popped in Windows Movie Maker, and was like, no, let's just take all this stuff out. Fade to black. That
like,
makes
what was the
sense.
point of Peter Dinklage's character? It felt
There
like
was
Okay,
none.
so I have an idea.
Okay.
Not that they needed him to do this, but his health problems early on. Remember, he like had the herniated disc, and then Ralph says like that's because he's a dwarf. Dwarves have all sorts of health problems. Yeah. And I'm now gonna say that's actually why Matthew McConaughey was upset, not because he hates dwarves, but because he didn't want to bring a dwarf child into the world who would just have lots of health problems. And then wasn't mentally able to like know how to deal with it.
That almost paints Matthew McConaughey as not like a terrible person, which they were clearly making him out to be like.
But maybe they weren't. Maybe that was like
even
part
in the
of
scenes
thing.
without Kate Beckinsale, when because he's like a firefighter and he's like a firefighter training cadets, and like he's super harsh in like that one scene
he's
they
like
show.
yelling at that guy.
Yeah, and the other person's like,
"You're gonna die.
What's wrong with you? You gotta calm down." And it's clear he's just mad because of what his wife just told him. He's trying to deal with it, but like they're clearly painting him as like not a fantastic person,
Unsavory individual,
and a less fantastic person as it goes on.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But with Gary Oldman's character being essentially Quasimodo and like walking with a cane and a limp, and he has like a hunch and everything like that, and clearly has his own health issues. Like it seems like Peter Dinklage then having a herniated disc is kind of minuscule in comparison to the defects that clearly Gary Oldman's been dealing with for a long time. Whereas,
But again,
But they never talk about
those are in the movie
Well, he had
to solve his
osteoporosis,
walking issues. Because he was a tall, real
right,
man.
they were necessary to write in there.
As opposed to...
Except when he's sitting on a couch.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
What was it like when he was sitting on the couch, Armand?
Well, obviously his legs are inside the couch, and they bought like $2 Halloween decorations. These
Like
legs.
scarecrow legs.
it
and
seems
just
like
chopped off the torso.
You guys know
and
the
just used the
jeans
legs.
that you see like sticking out of the back of somebody's window of a car?
Yes.
Like
that's
that's
what
what
they
it
look
looked like.
There was no knees,
like
no
stuffed,
bones. It was just like whoop shoes.
Yeah, it looked
Like
like,
they-
a puppet.
Yeah, like they stuffed newspaper in some jeans like you would for a fake scarecrow, and then set it on the couch and stapled it to some shoes.
So what were they thinking? Like it looks so bad.
So, all in all, would you guys throw back to this later on or bury it?
I would say that there's a good reason that you haven't heard of this movie and have never seen this movie and have no friends that have heard of or seen this movie.
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah, I would never
It was
watch
awful.
this again.
the reasons hold up. There's just too many of them.
It wasn't even like that. It wasn't like bad funny either.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Some things were like the most.
They would have done a better job if they had realized that it was not going to go anywhere and instead taken themselves not seriously at all and added a totally comedic aspect to the content. Sure. Because for the average moviegoer, it is a little bit of a comedic plot at its core. Like in the movie, you don't feel like it's comedic at all. But if they had like made it or kind of, you know, cut it to be more that way and less of like a like we're dealing with the big issues kind of drama, which
kind of wasn't.
I don't feel like it's not a major issue in America that the average person is dealing with.
Yeah.
So
and even if it was, it just didn't sell it. Like in the dialogue and the performances and the plot, even like they just did not sell that it was actually like there were no real stakes.
Yeah, and
like
then
nothing was at stake.
It's very obvious that there was a lot missing to it, but I don't think even all that would have made it better.
McConaughey had no arc. Like his character did not learn anything from the start.
In fact, he like went just like randomly. Like, I'm okay with dwarves in my family. I'm not. I hate them. I'm a dwarf. I need new chromosomes. Like it's just all over the place.
I'm okay with it right now, so let's get married. All right. No, I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punch a wall.
But they also kind of painted almost Kate Beckinsale's character as it was like something of a fetish for her in a sense. Like not directly, but they either didn't have enough character progression for it to be like true character development, rather than just like maybe she was just kind of curious. And
have you ever been with a dwarf?
Exactly.
Sexually?
Have you ever been involved with a little person sexually?
Exactly. That was weird.
And then by the end of the movie, she's with his brother, who's a dwarf with osteoporosis, hunchback,
hi, Mark.
and a limp.
How's your dwarf sex life?
Exactly. I feel like Tommy Wiseau directed this movie, like hands down.
Yeah.
Like it feels like an alien made this movie.
Unfortunately, I think there might have been more character development if Tommy Wiseau had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a funny story, Mark.
All right, so we're gonna tiptoe this one over.
No, we're gonna throw this away.
No more tiptoes.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you next time.
Don't watch the movie. We watch it for you.
Yeah. So you don't have to.
Now my nights are sunny. She simply make my everyday. I guess I'll stay a dreamer.